Medal. Thanks for joining us. And we've got a great guest. And as I just said to him off air, we were both on the same beach in the middle of the Caribbean less than a week ago. He's in Japan now, and I'm in London. Some aeroplanes, they're quite amazing, aren't they? Kip Winger, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How come I didn't see you on the cruise?
It's a weird thing. I don't like to kind of bother people. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to kind of tap people on the shoulder and say hi if I've got
Yeah.
no reason to speak to them. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
it's a weird.
yeah, that's fine. I appreciate that. But on the cruise, it's kind of, I expect just, that's the one place where people can just kind of come up and go, hey, what's up? And I'm like, cool. Go to the buffet and eat some burgers or something.
Yeah, yeah, it's a weird, it's kind of a bit like Animal Farm. Like it's socially, it's quite an interesting kind of dynamic on there, isn't it? Because there's the people in the bands, there's the people in the business, and there's the fans, and everyone interacts in a slightly different way. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. My first question was going to be actually whether you feel at all wistful. Are you going to miss that sort of that interaction? And because obviously, the band's retiring. So how do you feel about it?
I love it, but I mean, listen, I've been well known my whole life, so um, but I don't feel like I was never like, hey, I'm a rock star or anything like that. It's very matter of fact to just talk to people. What I'll miss is playing with these guys that I really love so much. But I'm very excited to move on to this other world that I'm really inspired because I'm hearing so much of the music. So
Mm,
um, as far as the cruise goes, it's not. I wouldn't say that I'll never be on another cruise,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
with those games I host. Listen, for the people who are listening that don't know about the Monsters of Rock cruise, my band plays, but I host a couple shows on there. One being So You Think You Can Shred, where we get amateur guitar players, and this year we also did Monster Feud, which was similar to Family Feud with our modifications, of course. And I had a blast doing that. It was really fun. Did you see any of those?
No, I didn't. I didn't actually. It's hard. There's 50 bands, right? So
Yeah, of
the
course.
the one thing you do is if you've seen a band in the last few months, you kind of you that's one you don't have to go see. You know what I mean? And
And
yeah,
on
yeah,
this, there were some cool bands on this cruise. There were some
yeah.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I thought Finland were great. Michael Monroe on the pool stage was outstanding, and that band there's a Finnish band called
A hardcore superstar.
no, they're Swedish. I'll come back to it
Swedish,
anyway.
yeah, right, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what is that? So you're not really cutting yourself off from rock completely. You're just not you're not leaving us completely, right? Or are you?
Well, at some point I'm going to play a final show with the band. I don't know when it
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
Mm.
but that's not to say I might not do a cruise or something. I don't really know. I'm not going, hey, this is the last show we're ever going to do because um, you know, it's well, hey, Kiss did it for 10 years, so
Where will the last show be? Like, have you got? You must have some thoughts about where and when. You know.
I do have some thoughts about it, but nothing's totally worked out yet. So when as soon as I know, I'll let you know.
And would you like to have like it just because you've stayed together for so long? Would you like to have anything different? Would you like to have guests come up, or would you like to do anything
Well, that would
spectacular
be
in that?
cool. That would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
cool. That would be cool. I did think about that, but it depends on the location, like where we would be. So um, I don't know yet.
Welcome back to White Line Fever. Second part of interview with Kip Winger. I want to thank him for his time. Now we are talking, and we didn't mention it in the first part of the interview. We must because that's why we're talking. A trip to Australia, and the only other time I've spoken to you was in 1989 on your promotional trip to Australia after a world tour. And I that I'm old, and so I how what do you remember that? Because I actually did the story for Kerrang, and I think the headline was I want the cover of Kerrang was the headline they put on the interview that I did back in 1989. That was me. So what do you remember of that sort of promotional trip? I guess you're at a very different stage of your life then, you know?
Yeah, the early days of the band when we first hit, I mean, that was really like, okay, we got something here. Let's keep this going. That was very exciting. Was I there with anybody, or was it just me in
No, it's
Australia?
just you, and you were doing like 10 interviews a day in the record company office. And I remember they took you down to the harbour and they took a picture in front of the opera house.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you had leather pants on. It was very warm. So yeah, you don't remember the trip. Do you remember anything about the trip or not?
I remember going there, but I've done so many of those things. No offense, I've just done so
Yeah,
many of those things. It's hard to remember the exact. I do remember taking that photo actually.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was the first time I saw that opera house.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now I'm thinking I got to get my music played in there. So, but yeah,
Wow. Expand on that a bit. It's an ambition to have your classical music played in the Sydney Opera House.
oh hell yeah, yeah. I mean that's my. This is embarking on my whole new, kind of classical thing. I'm going into it with as much fire as I had when I was 20 going into the rock thing.
Mm.
And
So what are your ambitions? What are your ambitions? What do you?
I've been very lucky to get a lot of performances. Well, I mean, it really comes down to if you can get performances, and if conductors dig your music, and
Mm.
I've been really lucky. My music seems to translate pretty well because I took a great deal of time learning how to do this on their terms. So it's not like rock guy who comes in and thinks he can do this thing when he really can't. Like I can actually do it. So um, it's listen. There's nothing more exciting than to put your music in front of a 60-piece orchestra and have them blare through. I mean, they just kick an ass on something like that. It's really exciting.
So in a year's time, how different will your daily routine be and your life because of this change?
Well, the biggest thing is the traveling. It takes, like, if you do 40 gigs in a year, and sometimes we do more than that, you have twice that many days on each end traveling.
Mm.
So, you spend half of the year of your life sitting in an airport, like, and it really, listen, we're not a huge band. We don't fly around in our own Learjet, right? So it
Mm.
it tends to take a toll on you.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, all my personal goals just end up drifting away in an airport somewhere in Chicago. So
Yeah.
my life will be different in that way. I'll be able to, listen, um, interruption is the death of creativity.
Mm.
So my focus is to get myself into a place where I can be 100% creative and keep it rolling because it's really difficult to have it all broken up so much. And I mean, I've written every kind of rock song possible. I mean, I've made my final statement on the last Winger record. Um, and a lot of people think that's like, if not our best record, it's close to being our best along with Pull.
Mm.
You know? And I kind of brought back the original guys and put the original logo on and gave it a nice, full circle. So there's nothing else that Reb and I could do in with Winger that wouldn't just be like, okay, let's write another one of those or
Mm.
another one of those. And now I'm in this whole other mentality where the sky's the limit, and I've got 30 more years of expressing myself, in a world of things that haven't been done by me.
Because there would have been a good opportunity to change gears during the grunge years, right? Like, that would have been an opportunity to go off and do something
I
completely
did.
different. Yeah, yeah.
I did do that with my solo records. I had 4 solo records. This conversation seems like a dream. From the moon to the sun. From the moon, no, from the moon to what was the second one was songs from the ocean floor,
Mm.
and then from the moon to the sun, and in between there was this acoustic record. But those 3 records, I really redefined, you know, a lot of what I do, and they were the bridge to this new kind of place I'm in now.
Yeah, yeah. This we'll have another song in a minute, but you bring up Beavis and Butthead as much as the interviewers do but have you got a relationship with Mike Judge? Do you know the guy? Have you got a relationship with him?
Well,
Yeah.
I had some interactions with him on email. God, it was a long time ago now, at least
Yeah.
10 years. But it was pleasant enough. I mean, it wasn't adversarial at all. They were looking to come out with some new Beavis and Butthead, and I had contacted him, going, "Hey, man, I just want to talk to you about it," and it was fine. I mean, he was just another one of us trying to make a living, and my T-shirt ended up being the one that stuck.
Yeah,
Wasn't
yeah,
good
yeah.
for me, but I don't think it was any. It was just one of the. Listen, it was just one of those things. I don't call him up. I don't have a relationship now where I talk to him much, but we had some interaction. It was fine. It was the same like I got a call from James Hetfield, and
Yeah.
he was the nicest guy on the planet. And so we
Mm.
we actually text from time to time, and a very he's a great dude actually, James, and no hard feelings there.
Welcome back to White Line Fever, third and final part of the interview with Kip Winger. I want to thank him for his time. Kip, I wanted to I said I wanted to repurpose stuff, and I kind of thought it was an opportunity to do two things. One is to ask a number of artists about this backing tapes thing, which I know you talked to Eddie Trunk about, and you kind of have there's a narrative there, and you've brought in help, with vocals and stuff. So is it a losing battle? Like when this and your band's about to finish, when the current batch of bands disappear from the scene, is the battle lost? Is everyone just going to be lip syncing? Is everyone going to be using tapes?
Wait a
What
minute. Did you say I brought in help for vocals?
No, no, but haven't you had? I didn't. Haven't you brought in people like? I thought I heard on Eddie Trunk that you had people come in and help. No, live? No, never, never.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
okay.
no. My band's been 100% organic from the beginning. If I ever brought anybody in for help, it would have been, you know, Jeff Scott Soto to help me sing "Miles Away" when my
That
voice.
that's what I heard. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I had some cruise crud.
yeah.
I developed a tick on "Miles Away," but um, that's another. I am terrified of singing all this stuff at 63. I still can do it. I mean, I don't know if you saw us on the boat, but
I saw some of it because I saw you in London recently. You know what I mean? I thought I didn't, but I saw the pool show. I came to the pool show. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that London show was good, man. We had a
Mm.
good time at that show. That was great. So I can still sing, but Rod's 71, and bunch of studio musicians. This is what you get when you put it. That was total bullshit. What happened was Reb and I came from, like, I grew up in a band with my brothers. Reb played tons of bands, and we ended up in New York. Bo Hill was there. He had a lot of work, and he needed some people to do some tracks. And so we ended up in the studio playing on a lot of his albums. And that's where the studio musician thing came from. When I got the Alice Cooper gig, I met Paul, and I thought, okay, he's great because he plays guitar, keyboards, and he sings. And having grown up in a band with my brothers, I really understood what chemistry was all about, and I just have the instinct to know that Paul and Reb would be great, you know. And then we accidentally met Rod when we were recording demos for the first album, and Rod came in because it was in a management office, and he came in for an audition for another band, and we just happened to meet him. And Reb was a big Dixie Dregs fan, and I didn't know them, but Reb was freaking out, and so we got together and did a rehearsal with Rod. And then I said, hey, I know this guy Paul, and technically, yeah, it was on the phone because Paul lived in California and we were in New York. But you know, when it came time to do the tour, I was like, Paul, get on a plane, come out here. We're gonna go, you know, we're gonna go do this thing. So it was all very organic, to be honest with you. Like, met Reb in the studio, met Paul and Alice Cooper. We met Rod walking in an office just because, and that's how that all went down.
Are there records that you played on with Bo that people still don't know you played on, or is it all in the public domain now?
Well, I mean, that's more Reb. Like, a lot of people didn't know that Reb replaced a lot of the guitars on "Love Is for Suckers" by Twisted Sister. Um, I played on a soundtrack album called Hearts of Fire, and one of the outtakes of that song, Bob was went on a Bob Dylan record. So like, I happened to end up on a Bob Dylan record, which was really cool for me. But I mean, I never met him or anything like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one of the coolest things I've ever done that nobody probably knows about, this came way later, that I did about, I don't know, however, Hollywood Vampires album came out. You know, I played bass on that album. Um, Not all the tracks, but I did play a bunch of stuff on that for Bob Ezrin. But uh, and you know, Reb was the one that played on most, like Chaka Khan, Bee Gees, stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, cool. Well, after 36 years since we last spoke, thanks for that. And we have one.